Well, welcome to the 700 Club. Student teachers from a Christian university are now banned from a public school system, all because of their university's biblical mission statement. And that's the decision made by an Arizona elementary school district.
The school board voted unanimously to cancel its contract with Arizona Christian University after an LGBT member raised concerns. Their action was quickly followed by outrage over religious discrimination and the threat of a multi-million-dollar lawsuit. Charlene Aaron reports.
For the past 11 years, Arizona Christian University and Washington Elementary School District had a partnership where ACU students could student teach in the district's public schools. Weeks ago, that relationship ended when the school board cut ties because of the university's biblical beliefs on marriage and sexuality.
While I full-heartedly believe in religious freedom and people being able to practice whatever faith that they have, I had some very concerns regarding looking at this particular institution.
In February, the 5-member Washington Elementary School Board voted unanimously to not renew the student-teacher contract with Arizona Christian University. Though she said she supports religious freedom, LGBTQ board member Tamila Valenzuela took issue with the school's mission statement, which includes providing a biblically integrated education.
How does that hold space for our members of the LGBT community? How does that hold space for people who think differently and do not have the same beliefs? That makes me feel like I could not be safe in this school district.
On CBN's Global Lane, ACU spokesperson enlighten expressed shock over the district's decision.
Arizona Christian University students have been working with Washington School District for over 10 years, and all of the feedback I've gotten has been positive. In fact, they've asked for more of our students to come.
The Alliance Defending Freedom is representing ACU in a lawsuit against the school district.
The government cannot treat people of faith worse than everyone else. These students should not lose opportunities and be punished merely because of their religious beliefs. That's a blatant example of religious discrimination.
At a recent board meeting, members of the community voiced outrage over the district's move.
Out of the dozens of practicum students I have had throughout my WESD teaching career, 16 of them have been from ACU. All 16 have had glowing reviews in regards to their instruction, strategies, and connections made with all students. Never at any time did our students feel unsafe or attacked, ever.
You are setting a precedent through the state of Arizona that discrimination towards Christians is allowed.
Others argued the board's decision could cost the district millions of dollars.
I mean, we talk about hurting the children. That hurts.
Meanwhile, Tucker says 2 board members have doubled down on their position, but the ADF is prepared to take the case through the appeals system to protect the school's freedoms of speech and religion. Charlene Aaron, CBN News.
Well, this is just seemingly another in a long series of cases where it's okay to discriminate against Christians in the public square. For this to go through and be voted on unanimously by the school board, none of the other school board members taking a stand for religious freedom, none of them recognizing what is clearly stated in the Constitution: there shall be no religious test. If you run for office, there can never be a religious test. So as a school board member with that protection, why wouldn't you extend that same protection to the people that work in the school district? You have to have religious freedom. You have to have freedom of conscience. You have to have freedom of speech. You have to have all of these freedoms in order to maintain a democracy. And you can't have one group say, well, my feelings are hurt by your beliefs, even though it's just something I read in your mission statement. It's just absolutely incredible what is happening in our country today. This is going to be litigated. We will await the court's decision. My prediction is the court's going to come down and say this is a clear case of religious discrimination. You've targeted their religious beliefs. You were quite open in doing that, and this needs to stop. But unfortunately, it's not going to stop, because whether you're a baker in Colorado or a student teacher in Arizona, it seems like it's open season on you, that they can continue to discriminate against you. And even when courts tell them to stop, they continue doing it. In other news, yesterday a heated debate broke out on Capitol Hill over parents' rights in education. John Jessup has that story from the CBN newsroom. John?
That's right, Gordon. Lawmakers on Capitol Hill right here in Washington held hearings dealing with free speech at school board meetings and a GOP bill that would give parents more oversight on classroom materials, including what books should be allowed in school libraries. CBN's Jenna Browder reports.
A fiery day on Capitol Hill in hearings debating parents' rights in the classroom. Republicans say it's about increasing transparency. Democrats, though, call it censorship and say it pits parents against teachers. Republicans taking action in response to angry parents speaking out at school board meetings over materials in public schools.
Obviously, some Democrats today want to silence parents who disagree with their woke agenda to indoctrinate American children with controversial and inappropriate curricula.
The GOP's Parents' Bill of Rights requires schools post curriculum and respect free speech at school board meetings. Republicans focused on a DOJ memo targeting parents for acting out at school board meetings.
This is what domestic terror looks like. This is not a school board meeting. There is no hotline for any of these rights, and we are going to have a hotline that's going to report parents for caring about their children's education.
The bill's most divisive point, a requirement that schools list books in libraries. Democrats accuse Republicans of wanting to censor history.
This state-mandated censorship does not protect students. Instead, these legislative efforts will likely harm students, teachers, and the quality of public education. We do not serve the interests of students when we shield them from the truth, as uncomfortable as the truth may be at times.
Sarah Parshall-Perry with the Heritage Foundation says the movement is parent-driven.
The parents have found their voices, and that COVID has given us a new perspective on exactly what our students, what our children are learning at the grassroots level, what they're being taught. And many of those concepts are not only divisive, we're seeing books now included in school libraries that are outright pornographic in violation of longstanding obscenity laws.
I hope they're successful in banning a number of books. The question is, which are those books? Are those books, for example, Genderqueer, a memoir, that book, or This Book is Gay? In that book, there are all sorts of depictions with body parts and male body parts. I can't even put on the screen the stuff that is in this book, Genderqueer, where there's two men engaged in a sexual position. Another page where I can flip to where there's two men engaged in oral sex. Another picture here in which there are any number of ridiculous graphic pictures that are being put in front of our kids in schools.
And the House votes today on the Parents' Bill of Rights Act. If it passes, though, it faces an uphill battle in the Senate. In Washington, Jenna Browder, CBN News.
Thank you, Jenna. Now to a new report that shows violent attacks and hateful rhetoric against Jews in the United States reached an all-time high last year. Anti-Semitic attacks jumping 36% in 2022, according to data from the Anti-Defamation League. Some 3,700 incidents were reported across the country. The year also saw a dramatic rise in white supremacist propaganda, along with increases in harassment, vandalism, and physical assaults against Jewish people and places of worship. Well, in the Middle East, American forces launched precision airstrikes in Syria today after an attack by suspected Iranian-made drone killed a U.S. contractor and wounded 5 American troops and another contractor. The U.S. strike targeting facilities used by groups affiliated with Iran's Revolutionary Guard and reportedly killed at least 4 people. Well, for hundreds of years in Israel, archaeologists have made historic discoveries in the city of David. Now a site that's well known for one of the most famous miracles in the New Testament is being uncovered for the world to see. CBN's Chris Mitchell takes us to the Pool of Siloam.
Located at the bottom of the city of David is the Pool of Siloam, one of the most important places in ancient Jerusalem.
This is a site where all of the Jewish people would gather 3 times a year for Pentecost, Tabernacles, and Passover to immerse, spiritually cleanse themselves before the pilgrimage up to the temple.
These steps were uncovered in 2004, but when the pool is fully excavated on the other side of this wall, it will mark the first time in modern history when the Pool of Siloam has been fully excavated and open to the public.
So now there is a groundbreaking. We are really in historic times. We are finally able to excavate. Our tractors have started excavating the Pool of Siloam, meaning in a short, I hope, short year, 2 years, we'll be able to come here and see the full Pool of Siloam in its entirety.
This video shows what the pool might have looked like as Jews purified themselves and walked up to the temple. The Bible explains how King Hezekiah built the pool in Chronicles and 2 Kings. Now the rest of the acts of Hezekiah, all his might, and how he made a pool and a tunnel and brought water into the city, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Judah? The book of John describes how Jesus healed the blind man near the pool. When he had said these things, he spat on the ground and made clay with the saliva, and he anointed the eyes of the blind man with the clay. And he said to him, "Go wash in the Pool of Siloam." So he went and washed and came back seeing. Weisman says the pool links the people of the Bible.
All of the biblical stories, you want to meet David and Solomon, Hezekiah, the kings, the stories of Isaiah, of Jeremiah, they're here. And this is literally the water system, the life source of that Jerusalem.
She adds how this project also makes the connection to the people of today.
We are here in Jerusalem, Jerusalem that unites the whole world. Everywhere you go in this world, people are focusing on what's happening in Jerusalem. This is the uniting city. While we're living and creating and innovating in Jerusalem today, at the same time, here at the Pool of Siloam, we're now able to uncover what used to unite us in Jerusalem 2,000 years ago.
The excavation is the fulfillment of a dream for the people who work at the City of David.
The dream, and what we're actually turning into reality here at the City of David, is to finish excavating the Pool of Siloam and be able to have millions of people come from all faiths and backgrounds, visit the Pool of Siloam, be able to walk up the original pilgrimage road to the temple. And hopefully we'll be able to see that dream realized.
Chris Mitchell, the Pool of Siloam, the City of David.
Familiar stories from the Bible being brought to life. Gordon, back to you.
It's amazing the dimensions of this pool. I first got associated with, in producing Superbook, we were looking at biblical models and how to portray the city of Jerusalem during the time of Jesus, and I was amazed how big it was. And then one of our experts explained, well, and just imagine 3 million people going up to the temple for the festivals, whether that's Passover or the Day of Atonement, all of these things. They needed to go through the Pool of Siloam. They needed to have that. And that's why the size is just, it's immense. So it's wonderful that it's being uncovered. Hidden for so long. I remember sitting on those steps and thinking, this is kind of small, but then when you see just exactly how big it is, you go, this is going to be a monumental project. And what will be uncovered along with it as they look at the foundation here, what are they going to find that's going to go all the way back to the time of Jesus and even back to the time of Hezekiah? The Pool of Siloam was the purest water. That's the rabbinical tradition. It was fed by the tunnel of Hezekiah, which goes down to a spring at the base of Mount Zion. This is the place where the kings of Israel would be anointed, and they would be commissioned to be king over all of Israel, because it's the purest water coming from the very source of Zion. It's amazing to see it. It's amazing to go there. And as you get these things uncovered over time, every time you turn over a stone in Israel, you find God's word written in that stone. How accurate the Bible is as a history, how accurate the descriptions are. It's amazing what's coming out of Israel today.